Why do people get into debt? Why do people become financially stressed? Why is it that many people are not able to live successful life, blissful life? They are not happy. Why is it that every day they are panicking, they are going back and forth? Let me ask you this question. Have you ever been in debt? Or as of now, as you are watching or listening to this, are you in debt? How did you get into debt? And most importantly, how can we come out of it? In this episode, I want to share with you the causes of why people get into debt. And then most importantly, we draft a plan on how you can get out of debt. One thing you must understand is that financial independence is getting to the point where you no longer have to be worried about money. You don't have to be worried about the bills. Financial independence is being able to walk into the shop, into the mall, pick up things without looking at the prices. Financial independence is being able to take care of your spouse, take care of your children, take care of your loved ones, and not be bothered about anything. But one of the things that hinder many people in their ability to be able to achieve financial independence is they get into debt. Mostly for the wrong thing. Why do people get into debt? Now, one thing you must understand is that debt in itself is not a bad thing. Borrowing money is not a bad thing, but it is about what you use the money for. So if you borrow money to finance a lifestyle and expenses, something that is not going to bring back money, then certainly you're going to be having financial challenges. But if you borrow money and use that money for something that is going to generate income, then the income can pay for the debt. So let's give two scenarios. Let's say that we have one person, Abena. So Abena and Kwame are preparing to marry. Then they have a dream wedding. Especially Abena has a certain wedding in her mind that she wants to have. Okay. They look at their finances. Abena and Kwabena does not have the money. But then they said, hey, we're going to borrow some money. So they go to the bank or they go see some loan shark somewhere, and then they borrowed some money, whatever, 100,000 Ghana cedis, so that they can have extravagant wedding. The idea about why they borrow the money is because they think that people, when people come for the wedding ceremony, they are going to be giving them gifts, money, and those things, and then they can use that to settle the debt and be comfortable. So they go borrow this money, and then they had a plush wedding. And they have the best life, and people are talking about it. People came and they are chatting about it, talking about it. Then after the wedding, by the time they get to the honeymoon, the phone starts ringing. Hey, you've not paid for this, you've not paid for that, you've not paid for this, you've not paid for that. So you realize that from the honeymoon, immediately after that ceremony, the bills have started piling up. And they have not received any significant gift or money, hence they cannot pay for the loan. So the marriage that is supposed to start on a beautiful tone, on a peaceful tone, on a blissful tone, now begins with chaos. Now the man is going to be blaming the woman and say, you see what you have cost? I told you I didn't have money. Look at the wedding we did. We have finished this wedding. Look at the debt. Now they have to take their salary, which is not enough. And they are living in a miserable apartment or miserable home somewhere. And they have to take their salary and be repaying that loan. Before you realize, their sex life, their social life, everything about them has been affected, all because they went for one debt like that to finance their wedding. That is bad debt. And so borrowing money to finance things of that nature is absurdity, and it is something that you must not do. And one of the key reasons why many people remain poor for the rest of their life and never achieve financial independence is because they get into debt for the wrong things. People borrow money to buy cars so that they can flex to their colleagues. People borrow money to buy other expensive gadgets. Even the house that people live in, they borrow money and they use it to rent a beautiful apartment so that their friends will know that, yeah, Ugbonana, I have also arrived. But all of those things are wrong. But let's look at another scenario. Let's say we have another person, Kukua. And Kukua borrows money, and she used the money to acquire a property. And so a mortgage on a property. And that property is going to be rented either on Airbnb or normal rental property. So Kukua had borrowed money, but she didn't use the money for a wedding. She didn't use the money to buy a plush car so that she can flex around. She didn't use the money to do anything else, but use the money to buy a property. All right. And so now the rent income every month from that property will now be used to pay for the mortgage on the loan, right? And over a period of time, she's going to be able to repay the loan and then have the property. That is a good debt. And so it is important we understand that we don't get into debt for the wrong things. Now, there are some other financial experts who suggest that people should not even use debt at all because debt is a bad thing. Yeah, it depends on wherever the heck you are at. But what I'm saying is that debt is good if you borrowed it for something that is going to be generating income that has a sustainable flow of money that will be able to repay the loan. But if you are borrowing money to finance a lifestyle, to finance something that is not going to be bringing you money directly, then you're going to be getting into trouble. And so if you're in debt, how do you come out of it? If you're in debt, how do you come out of it? There are a couple of strategies and techniques that you need to understand when it comes to dealing with debt. Number one is to come to the realization. You need to come to the point where you are like, hey, I'm in a deep mess and I need to come out of this hole. Because there are a lot of times many people do not appreciate the intensity or, if you want, the degree of the problem that they have. Yes, they are in debt, but they go around carrying themselves and say, na so kafo didi. Like it's a saying in Tree that says that even the one who owes eats. And they feel it's normal, and they will sheepishly say something like, even the Ghana government owes, even the America government owes. Who am I? No. Achieving financial independence starts with realizing the mess you are in, acknowledging the mess you are in. Because remember, it doesn't make you happy. It affects your sleep. It affects your social life. It affects your sex life. It affects all other aspects of your life because of the mess you are in. And so the first step in dealing with the debt is to realize the degree of the debts that you are in. That means you sit down and make a list of all of the debts that you owe. Which one of the debts are interest-bearing debts? Which ones do not have interest? Which one have higher interest? Which one have lower interest? How long is it due to be paid? So you have to come to the point of realization and list all of those debts. The second thing is to now design a strategy on how you can repay the debt. Now, to be able to repay the debt means that you need to stop yourself from going into further debt.